What's going on everyone? How are you guys doing today? It's Noel here and welcome back to another Steam 2 video. On this video we're going to be going over getting a 200k score Nightfall for your Solstice armor. I'm going to be telling you weapons that you should run, the Nightfall that you should run, the modifiers, pretty much everything to help you get that 200k Nightfall this week. The very first thing that we gotta do is basically choose a Nightfall. We have 3 Nightfalls this week. We have Arms Dealer, the True Probabilities, and the Garden Whirl. And I think that this week, the one where you're gonna get the 200k, the easiest, is gonna be the Garden Whirl. The Garden Whirl uses a lot of ads, meaning that you're gonna be getting a lot of points, so you won't have to be having such a high modifier or having a lot of just bad modifiers that hurt you. So I think that this week you guys should run the Garden Whirl if you wanna get that 200k Nightfall. Now let's actually move on to the modifier card, and for this one we're gonna run some Arc Cinch. In this strike there's a lot of void and solar damage, so we're just trying to use the thing that the enemies are not using, while still trying to take the most advantage that we can. So I recommend that you run a not clearing Arc Super, something like Arc Staff, Stormcaller, Bottom Truth Striker. All of those work pretty well, especially since we're going to be fighting a bunch of just ads, so that works very well for them. For your weapons, Loaded Question, those amazing in the strike. Both of us were actually running Loaded Question, and we were just having overs for days, and just groups of enemies were disappearing because of Loaded Question. Machine guns like Thunderlord, 21 Delirium, they're also pretty good. If you really use the Madman and just want some overkill damage, the Legend of Accuracy is always there. But basically it's just your go-to arc weapons with an arc subclass, and you're gonna be pretty good. Now for the handicap, we're gonna be running a 210 handicap. This puts us down, if you are 750, this is gonna put us down at just 540. So like the level of the Nightfall, so we're not really gonna be taking any more damage than we normally would, but we're also not gonna be dealing more damage. We're basically just leveling out everything, we're on an even playing field, so it's not too bad since we're not taking any extra damage. If you're not actually 750, you probably don't wanna run a 210, you wanna run something a little bit lower, something like 200, maybe 190, 195, just something that puts you around the 540 mark when you actually go into the strike. You want to push it as much as you can, but not just overdo it. Now we're going to choose some extra modifiers to add to the cinch, so we can increase our multiplier even more, so we can get closer to that 4.0 times multiplier. And for these ones, there's a couple ones that you could run. You could run Momentum, Blackout, Grounded, or Extinguish. Those 4, I think they're the easiest one to deal with. They don't change your gameplay too much. Something like Extinguish is amazing. It doesn't really affect the gameplay, unless all of you die, then you're gonna have to restart. But as long as you're confident that your team is not gonna die, you're always gonna have someone surviving, then Extinguish can be a pretty good one, since it's not really gonna affect the way you play too much. Momentum is also a personal favorite of mine. Pretty much have it on every Nightfall. Being able to use control the region on your health is pretty good. Just as long as you keep moving there once in a while, you shouldn't really have too big of a problem with the health region. Blackout can actually be a pretty good one in this one, since as long as you keep your distance, there's not too many things that are gonna melee you in Garden Whirl. And with Grounded, as long as you stay on the ground, you shouldn't take any extra damage. It's gonna be like if the modifier wasn't even there. So just pick 2 of those, combine them, and then you're gonna be hitting something like 3.95 multiplier or a 4 multiplier, something around there. And that's basically the multiplier you wanna hit if you wanna get a 200k Nightfall. You wanna hit at 3.95 to 4, and anything above 4 is pretty much just extra points. And if you wanna add another negative modifier, then you definitely can, but you don't have to. If you choose 2 of the ones that I talked about, then that should be pretty much enough. Okay, so now I'm gonna walk you through the strike real quick and the things that you have to do. In this beginning part, I'm going through the Infinite Force. You don't really have to kill too many things. If they're in front of you, kill them for some extra points, but you don't really have to. Both of us didn't really stay in the Infinite Force for that long trying to farm points or anything. We just kind of made our way through, just to kind of test how many points we would get, just running through it. But if you want a couple more extra points, maybe just let one guy kill everything while 2 people go on ahead through the rest of the strike. Now for the rest of the normal strike, before you get to the boss, It's pretty normal, you don't really have to do anything special. Just make sure that you kill every single enemy that you run across. They're all gonna be in big groups, so just keep chaining your supers, going through all the groups, picking out all the orbs, since that also gives you some points. So you just play normally up until you get to the boss. And here it's gonna depend mostly on your points. You wanna look at your points and you wanna see how many points do you have. In this one, when we went to the boss, we still needed about 30k points. So we decided not to melt the boss, we decided to stick around for a little, kill some of the ads as they came out of the portal, kill the big minotaurs, and then we kill the eye for the 200k Nightfall. So by the time that you get to the boss, it basically is a matter of how many points do I have right now, do I have to kill a couple more things so I can actually get the 200k. This Nightfall was actually used the two of us, so it took us a little bit longer to get to the boss. So by the time that we got to the boss, we had already gotten a reduction to our multiplier. So that also kind of messed us up a bit at getting some points at the end. But if you're running this with 3 people, you should be getting to the boss faster, and you should be able to get even a higher score than we did. But even with the reduction in points, we still managed to get a 200k Nightfall to get that sweet upgrade on our armor. But with that, we're gonna end today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel in case you guys haven't already, and also share the video with all the guardians that might be struggling to get a 200k Nightfall. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.